Hi guys, Tamara Colgan here with AlphaDog. Today I'm going to make some protein cinnamon ginger cookies for this little guy. He's my little kitchen assistant. So I start out with my dry base. My dry base is actually this. It's an oat flax quinoa blend. And what I did is I food processed it, so I turned it into a bit of a flour. Instead of using that for all my dry ingredients, I actually also add some glutamine, which is in our Brawn product. I also I'm going to add some protein, some whey protein. This helps add more dry ingredients, but instead of adding extra carbohydrate, I'm going to actually add extra protein. This is also sweetened with stevia, so there's no bad sweeteners in here. So I'll just add a scoop of this. And just get going with the rest of my dry ingredients. One of the reasons we actually like to use L-Glutamine is because it helps with recovery time and also helps increase digestive health. So that's just an extra little kicker for our canine friends. So you can it's kind of like hit or miss. You know, you might have to use a little bit of extra here and there, just depending on how big your eggs are or how big your spoons are. But it's okay, it's pretty flexible. So just add a little bit of L-Glutamine in here. I also have some cinnamon. So that's also for flavor, but it also has some really good qualities when it comes to, for obese and overweight dogs. It helps with insulin regulation. So I'll just add probably, just add a tablespoon of that. And then we'll just I'll just give that a little bit of a mix before I add in my wet ingredients. Alright, and then I'm going to move on to the dries. So I'll move on to my wet ingredients. So I actually grated some ginger. So ginger is a powerful antioxidant. It also helps increase digestive health in your dog, so we kind of have a double whammy with our glutamine and our ginger. I just grated this. If you have a little bit of a more powerful food processor than I do, then you can throw it all in there at once. So I'll just add that in. So just grated ginger. Makes some really interesting flavor, and the dogs just love it. We prefer to use fresh, just because it's just a little bit better and a little bit tastier. Next I'm going to add, usually we do 2 eggs, but I'm just going to add 1 egg at a time, just to make sure that my wet to dry ratio doesn't go all out of whack all at once. And I like to use organic eggs. These ones are just omega-3 free-run eggs, so that's also healthy for them. They need their healthy fats just like we do. And then I'm also going to add, so this is a pumpkin. We like to get the ones that doesn't have any sugar added, so you have to be careful in the grocery store when you go, this is usually found in the baking aisle. Just make sure you get the one that doesn't have the sugar added, so you don't want any extra sweetener. And usually we use about 1/3 of a cup for this. And just kind of, you just sort of dollop it in, it's totally fine. And then, of course, one of our favorites, Adam's all natural peanut butter. The dogs just love it, and also adds more healthy fats for them. Usually about a tablespoon, the generous tablespoon here. So Chester's a pretty lucky boy. I do like to make his food, and I do like to make his treats, just because you don't always know what you're getting when you buy them from the grocery store. Or the pet food store even. So just be really careful when you read ingredients and just know what you're giving your best friend. I'll just give this a little bit of a mix up here. And I might have to add another egg. We'll see what the consistency is. This is when you can kind of play around with your ingredients. And the goal is kind of to bake them into like little hard treats, so we're not super worried about the actual like palatability as you would be when you make like chocolate chip cookies for yourself, because we're gonna kind of dehydrate them so that they're like little hard roll cookies. So the consistency here is actually pretty good. I don't think that I need to add any extra egg, so that's why I recommend adding them one at a time. And yeah, that looks pretty good. So my parchment paper is all prepped on my pan over here. And I preheated the oven to 350. And then usually we cook them for 20 minutes and then we check how hard they are. And then we'll cook them for an extra 10 and check how hard they are. And then we'll cook them. Really just depends on the size that you make them. And obviously that pertains to the size of your dog. So if you have like a huge pit bull, you might want to make a bigger cookie. If you have a little guy like mine, you're going to make them a little bit smaller. So there's not really any art to this either. You just kind of take a little dollop and plonk it on here. One really, really great thing about these is they're super high in protein, not really high in carbs. They're also pretty high in dietary fiber and have so many different just healthy fats, omega-3s, and they're actually really, really low in saturated fats, which is good. And Chester's all around my feet here. He's very excited. You're very excited for your treats, puppy? There's lots of different flours and things that you can use as well. Like I like to use the oats. I try to make sure that everything that I cook with for him is gluten-free. So you could use like a brown rice flour, even a white rice flour. You can just use, ready oats that you grind into a flour yourself, quinoa flour, anything like that. And then just a clean whey protein. Just try to get stuff that doesn't have a lot of added sugars. And I was a little lazy today. I actually didn't make the pumpkin puree from scratch, but I did make sure that it did not have any extra added sugar in it. So you just have to be careful when you do that. I roughly try to make them the same size. I'm not the best baker in the world, so I'll just. They don't have to be pretty either because the dogs do not care, believe me. They just go nuts for the treats. So we've made a couple other recipes in the past and yeah, they just love them. And it's all human grade and human quality ingredients, just like all of our AlphaDog products. So, you can actually eat these too. So that looks about good. I got about 14 out of that. So you can see they're not pretty, but Chester here can smell them, and he's definitely going to be impatient when they're in the oven. Ours actually cooked in 30 minutes, so they're all set to come out. You can see they're hard little cookies. You can cook them for longer and they'll obviously get harder. I kind of like this consistency. They're a little bit hot right now for Chester, but as you can see, they're just little cookies. He's actually getting very excited right now, so I'll just try to get one to cool down a little bit. But to see more of these, you want to see? Okay. To see more of these, it's very hot. To see more of these videos, we're going to be doing them every week, so be sure to... Too hot? Oh, yummy. I think a little bit too hot for him, but he's definitely very excited about the flavor. So yeah, we're going to be doing these videos every week, so be sure to check in with us, and be sure to give us a big thumbs up. If you have any questions or any recipes that you'd like to see, just comment down below, and we'll be sure to get to them. Okay, have a good day, guys.